Welcome to IShare My Story with Victoria, author entrepreneur. I am with Master Leonard Akathingo, who is an author and a mental health activist, as well as an entrepreneur. He has written so far 10 books and non-fiction books related to mostly to mental health, in particular on men-related issues. He is also a husband and a father. Welcome to the podcast, Master Leonard.
Thank you for having me.
Master Leonard, can you share a bit about your personal background and what led you to write about mental health problems?
Okay, so this is going to be a very interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing different about me. I'm not a robot. I'm not made out of metal. I'm a man like any other man. I'm a Vango like any other Vango, and I'm African like any other African. So my story is not so different. So I grew up in a surrounding that taught us that big boys don't cry. What is this notion that are fundamentally flawed? So we grew up with that a man must be strong, a man must be much, So I grew up with that background where even things go wrong, I was the type of person who pretend everything is right.
Yeah, because our culture
tells us a man must be strong. So I grew up in that background, and up to a certain point where I realized that not everything is a fairy tale, So I grew up in a Christian house with a loving parents and loving mother, loving father. As I grow, I get exposed to different things. So even what inspired me to be where I am today or what I am, to write all this book is because my own experience. I figured out a lot of guys have been through that experience. So that's why I decided to take, pick up the mantle and then speak on behalf of all the men. So my introduction probably won't make sense to everyone, but I believe in the concept of this empathy. It makes sense.
It means you want to change that notion that men should shouldn't cry, should be strong.
I don't want men to be strong. I want men to understand what is called toxic masculinity. That you do not need to be too strong, because if I had a Coca-Cola bottle, you take a Coca-Cola bottle and then you shake it. When you shake a Coca-Cola bottle, what do you expect? That's what meant. We bottle up so much pain. We bottle up so much pain from the past thing we experience, thing we have seen as we go. So what I don't want in life, or my vision, is that we need to change the whole toxic masculinity. That we need to start understanding that it's easier to swallow your pride and cry as a man. Because crying doesn't necessarily like a telemundo TPA, but just cry. It means to speak up, to open up, to talk. Yes. Because the moment that you cry about something, when you speak up about something, you become 50 kg lighter. Yeah.
It's very interesting to have this. And I'm sure many men can relate to this. Now, you have been very open about your mental health crisis in your pharmaceutical first.
Yes.
What was the turning point for you in seeking help and starting the journey to recovery?
Let me tell you a story. Yeah? So, before I got married, so few months before my wedding, so me and my business partner, we were working on this deal. When it was big, so we were about to do certain thing. So on the last minute, there were betrayal and everything, and then the plug was pulled. So here is a young guy with ambition, potential, investor and everything. Then they pull a plug on me towards the last days. So at that point, I started feeling,
It means it's the deal which went wrong.
Yes, it went wrong, and it was a big one. So when it didn't happen, then I started blaming myself. So am I a failure? Am I a disappointment? Am I a loser? So the regret, the fear, and everything started, on me.
So you started questioning yourself.
Questioning myself.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, is this even woman fit to be my wife? Because what am I going to provide to her?
You felt that you're not good enough.
Yes, I felt. Yes. So as I was going through that, and then the betrayal of the business, then I started telling myself, no man, I need to kill myself. So I had pills in my hand, And as I was in the room, and then I swallowed, and by God's grace, I, threw them out. It still didn't stop me from doing it. Then after some time, then I tried to really after again certain times. So then I realized, what if the purpose of my existence is that my story can open up other men's stories? Because I know a lot of guys have been through that as well. So I almost killed myself because I felt weak. I felt defeated. I felt useless.
What made you turn back?
What made me turn back is that as I was questioning myself, looking at my daughter, I'm looking at my wife that I promised to marry, that I promised to start a family with. So I'm asking myself, do I need to really surrender? Or do I need to understand the purpose of my existence as a man? So what turned me back is that when I went back in thought, and I realized every crisis that we go through is meant to test our character.
Yes.
A man is not known by how many times they fail, but the character of a man is known by how many times he tried to raise. Not by how you fall, not how you fail. Yes. So when I was going through my words, I'm looking at maybe what I was going through is just a beginning. Because like they say in English, every mountain that you see, when you think it's the highest, it's the beginning of the highest mountain. So yeah, so even what made me change and ask help is because I thought, man, I need to talk to someone. If that person happened to be my older sister, I thought I need to speak to someone. So when I spoke to her, it was this thing, she didn't know what was my intention. She didn't know that I already survived suicide. I just felt, let me speak to someone. Maybe they will tell me something that I needed to hear.
Which means only you yourself knew that you tried to attempt suicide, right?
Yeah. Up to now, it's only written in my book. Not even my sister know about it. Not even my family, not even my wife. This is going to be a new news to them. Not even my friends knew. But I had that feeling that I need to do it until the other feeling came. Just speak to someone about it.
I'm so sorry you have to go through that and actually get you from that decided to open up.
Yeah.
Because there's a say that the first step to healing is realizing that it's improving.
Yes.
So that is where you move forward to recover and then when help us need is to know from that support.
Yes.
Yeah, now you wrote a book called Swallow Your Pride.
Yeah.
Right? This book.
Yeah.
Swallow Your Pride. It's normal to cry as a man.
Yes.
Now, I want to know what inspired you to write this book.
Yeah.
It's what message you hope to that you take away from this book?
Yeah. So just like the title of the book says, Swallow Your Pride, it's normal to cry as a man. I said it has always been my life vision that we need to end this toxic masculinity. Now, what I mean by toxic masculinity is this, that we grew up in a society where we have always been taught, big boys don't cry. Take it as a pain, But what if every man on earth realized this toxic masculinity is the reason why we have high GBV rate in this country? What if men don't speak up or cry as a man is the reason why we have high suicide rate in this country? Do you know that many men, you can bring 10 men here, they will all laugh, and some they even drive a Mercedes Benz, some they can even be in corporate position top, some they can even be in cabinet.
You're saying that
Everything is fine.
Meanwhile, inside everything.
So that's why it's so easier for someone to drink alcohol, indulge in drugs, and live in a broken home. Because in the society that we exist in, we must always pretend everything is fine. But if we learn to adapt, to swallow your pride and cry as a man, then it becomes so much easier and lighter on us that we don't need to pretend. We can even speak what is bothering us. Have you ever seen, let me give you a practical example. In that book I've written, there's a topic written, let me remember the topic, pretense is a thief of joy. There's a chapter, I think the first chapter, pretense is a thief of joy. What I meant in that topic is that you meet a lot of people that pretend everything is fine. But what I mean by pretense is a thief of joy is that when you pretend a certain thing are taken away from you.
Yes.
Because I'm going to be with you here, pretend everything's cool. But when I go home, I'm going to the same problem.
Yeah, I think it's the same way as when we find friends or parties. It's in party, this day they don't want to that's great.
Yes.
Because this person was so happy, not happy.
In that chapter, two things I wrote about a teacher who wanted to sit in school. Always the most laughing guy. He come to school laughing with everyone. His subject is always passed. He is driving the latest car. He is the happiest guy. You know, someone you don't even think this guy is a problem. Until one day he didn't come to school and he killed himself. Even when you read the chapter how he entered, it will shock you. How was this guy, Mr. Perfect, Mr. Neat guy with the car, with everything that you wish for? The biggest problem is that this is what women go through. We keep the facade of everything is fine for too long that people get used to the laughing us, the smiling us, and then we hide the pain and challenges that we go through. So when you chill with someone and tomorrow you hear they committed suicide, it's because even the society that we exist in has become so toxic that I can't be able to confide in you anymore. I can't be any more open to tell you, no, my wife cheated or I cheated.
Yeah, then you hear it.
Immediately I tell you on Facebook, I'm a Jewish, I'm a what, this thing. So even the society itself became toxic. And even us, between me and you, we also have become fake friends, fake buddies. So it's easier for me to pretend everything is cool than for me to tell you I'm a problem.
Yeah, because some friends will come to you and say, no, they listen to your story and pretend to sympathize with you. Meanwhile, say, they can't wait to finish this conversation. So tell the next person. Yes.
But milk,
Let's talk about breaking the stigma. What do you feel there's such a strong stigma around when expressing their emotion? How can society change this narrative?
Yeah. So like I've mentioned that the biggest problem we have now, I just want to tell you this, that I think the Ministry of Gender, that they invited me to be part of the cluster on GDP and human rights. And I think with a lot of these guys, very smart guys from different departments and different agencies trying to create a solution in that. And one of the main things that we figured out is that, or what I have always been writing in my book, apart from that cluster, is that we have a huge societal pressure. And this societal pressure is the reason why we have too many suicide, we have too many GBV. Now, what I mean by this is that we can never break the stigma if we don't start with our own personal self.
Correct.
Yeah. So for us to break the stigma, we first need to understand that societal pressure existed even in the world of Jesus Christ himself. But societal pressure even started even when Julius Caesar reigned power. It is something that it will never end. We always feel we need to reach up to that standard even when we are not. Let me tell you something small. You know the difference between you as a female, me as a man. When you are growing up, you are probably already at an early age playing dolls, cooking scent. Everything we are doing, we are preparing it to be a mother and a wife. As when we grow up, we are wrestling. We are playing toy cars. We want to know who is stronger than who. So now, if you want to change the system, you have to go back to the roots. Like there's an English proverb that I've always mentioned in my book that if your plan is for a year, plant rice. If your plan is for 10 years, plant trees. But if your plan is for 100 years, educate the kids, the young ones, because they are most vulnerable members of the society. So if you have to break the stigma, unfortunately we can't tell them all no. But we need to start, as we need to start teaching our boy child that have always been ignored, that it's normal to cry some men, it's normal to open up, it's normal not to pretend. Because it's going to go on. The high GBV exists too much in the north, especially amongst us. It's undeniable. Namibia is top 4 suicide in the southern region, according to World Health Organization report. But now, if we change and break the stigma, we need to go back and ask ourselves, how do we then change this perception? So we need to start with the young boy child. So as they grow up already understanding it's normal to cry as a man.
Yeah. Because I also see with most parents, with their daughters cry is normal, but then it's a boy child. Why you cry? Don't let you know. Why not? And then, that's what we do. From the can you share a personal experience with the next based on your experience with the friends? Can it have a significant positive impact on your mental health? Can you share your experience where you express your vulnerability and had a significant positive impact on your mental health?
So it was not so long ago. I've never cried in my wife's school, So then one day we had a very intimate discussion, me and him. And this is someone who has been the pillar of my strength, She's like the cornerstone, she's everything. So until one day me and her we had an intimate conversation. Not so long ago, I think from this point of interview, I think it's 3 weeks ago or a month. So we spoke. And I've always been a strong guy. So in the midst of our discussion, we ended up talking about sensitive thing and I had to cry. And then she looked at me and she was like, really, this is how you feel? I didn't know this side of you. So even now, everything becomes so smooth. Now she understands that there are certain wounds that I've been carrying. There are certain luggages that I brought into this marriage, baggages that I brought into this marriage. But up to that point, when I spoke to her, and I'm not even trying to deny this because it was infidelity on my end, because I cheated. And I had to confess. But in the midst of that, I had to reveal certain things, my past relationship and how it ended and how I was betrayed and how what. So instead of the drama and whatnot, and I'm not using this as I don't want to be a narcissist, I don't want to be, I'm saying this because this is happening. I want every man out there to understand this. When it reached that point and I spoke about certain things and then I cried, it's not just my fault, but it's certain thing, that a past trauma that we unconfronted. Then I brought them. I brought the baggage in the marriage. Yeah. So when we spoke about the positive impact that came, it now made us more closer. It brought us together. It gave a certain understanding of who I am, where I came from. So it's even when she look at me, instead of arguing, she understands that this is my husband, but the husband in the past. So that past, it needed to come out. So when I opened, so even when I spoke about it, it brought us more closer. We have a better understanding, more romantic than ever been. I'm not saying every man must cheat to make peace. No. I'm just saying when you reveal weakness to your loved one, to your family, your wife, your mother, when you surrender yourself, just like even in Christianity, we need to humble ourselves before God so that greater things happen. You don't go before God being macho. You need to humble yourself. So when I did that, it brought us more close, bigger understanding.
When you are there, one thing I also realized, as a women, we actually shocked when the men become soft. I think for us as women, we must also allow men to be vulnerable.
Of course.
Yes. Because if we you allow your husband or your partner to become vulnerable,
of course.
Only then open communication can happen. That is the thing between women.
Of course. Let me give you a practical example. They've got to go to the gym, this strong guy. Now imagine you have this strong guy as a husband. Muscle, big guy, John Cena type, and then he come home and start crying. So you'd be like, when you strong crying.
Right.
But who said, apart from the muscle, the person doesn't even watch it? So even women, you need to allow us to be who we are supposed to be. Stop looking at us and saying, my man is strong. No. We are not supposed to be strong.
And I also feel like, that's just a general opinion from my end.
Yeah.
Men afraid of emotions.
Of course.
They don't like to show emotions.
Of course.
But for us as women, we're emotional people.
Of course.
Okay? We are on your periods, we're emotional.
Of course.
Women are up and down. And I just feel like men need to let their guard down and show that they are also doing it obviously. I'm the head of the household, and the men are not supposed to cry, and then also for us ladies to allow men to do that.
Of course.
Open up.
Yeah, so even when you did the introduction, as I was listening, and you then mentioned me as a father and husband and entrepreneur and a mental health activist, I was at a point in my life when I given up hope. And now it's my first year in marriage. I'm giving up hope. Business is not doing well, what is not doing what. And then my wife allowed me to be me. Then I spoke to her. No, this and that. She said, no, you have so much potential. It's not easy for me just to wake up one day and write 10 books.
It's not
No. I started 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's something that I write when I'm bored. I write when I'm at work. I write when I'm doing through this. When I was writing my books, I was looking at my daughter that one day I'm going to be 70 and old. Probably living in Dubai or America, or maybe she's going to live far from me. So my books I was writing as a letter to my child. Maybe one day I'm going to be mute and I couldn't speak. I wanted to read those books. So when I was writing all these things, it was my wife to tell me that, babe, there's so much potential in you. You don't need to give up at this point. Because I had to really open, she said, don't. If it was not because of her, if it was not because she allowed me to express myself, if it was not because of me to open that platform for me to speak up, I will not be here. I will not have written those books. I will not create those mobile apps and everything, because otherwise I would have just killed myself and stay in the room. But it's because of it that I have to finish from the first, every book that I've written, half pages, I have to complete. And even when she look at me, she doesn't see money. She sees the husband.
Yeah.
She sees the love. She sees the emotion. She feels the connection because she allowed that platform. It's something that I really wish that women understand that about us men, and also that women, we as men, also learn to open up to our women, because sometimes we can really support each other.
I also think this thing of attaching your worthiness to what you do is also important. You must separate yourself. Especially when it comes to men, men have this ego. Ego.
Yeah.
I am a man, I have to have a car, I have to provide for my wife. But then there are situations when you find the woman having more money or more, being more educated and so on.
Yeah.
Now we have this thing of your identity being linked to your title, and then when you lose this title, you feel then worth it. I think. And it's not only sometimes with men, it also happens with women, but mostly men. Because of that ego, say, I am maybe a CEO, I'm MD, I am. Now that when you lose this title, you start to feel worthless. You need to separate yourself as an individual made by God, worthy, not because of what you do, but only because you are made in the image of God. And then separate that from your title. Then that's where you also society the fault.
See, the whole thing of societal pressure is that, let me tell you this, it's not easy in today's world for a guy to date a rich lady or get married to a rich woman or a powerful. When I say rich, not a powerful individual. Let's say I'm married to a minister and I am unemployed. It's not easy. In the African context, especially as blacks, we have that in us, that environment.
That ego.
Yeah. So instead of just enjoying your marriage, you and your wife together, now you are there. Now, what about that? It has been there. But it's about time we change that. We are not going. You see, when I say that, they're probably certain guys that are going to help me, that I'm telling guys to be weak. But all I'm trying to say with this point is that we need to normalize and accept that one day your wife, your partner, can be richer than you, can be powerful than you. And you need to, when I say powerful, it's not necessarily power. No, I'm just saying she can have more income than you, more influence in the society. But you need to understand the relationship you're having. There are a lot of men today in the shop start because the society judge. So
that's why you find there are a lot of beautiful ladies who are influential, educated, great jobs, great position, but Some men can love them, but then they leave them there, and then just because of that, I'm afraid, because the ladies are looking more powerful than the men is. So we need to break this stigma.
Of course, it's indeed.
I must, what advice do you have to men who are struggling with mental, and they are then feeling too, ashamed to seek that.
Like I mentioned earlier, that if you take a Coca-Cola bottle and you shake it, it's gonna pass. But the greatest joy ever is to speak out. The greatest joy ever. You see, mental health is as important as your physical health. So when you take care of your physical health, make sure you take care of your mental health. Now, many times when we speak about mental health, many people think mental health ailment. No, it's mental health in short. I say mental health is what is, for you to understand, what is preventing you from giving a genuine smile with your colleague at work, with your kids at home, with your neighbor. What is preventing you from giving that genuine smile? Many people, when they understand this question, they understand the reason why I don't maintain relationship with people. I don't have friends. The reason why even at my colleagues at work we don't, or my neighbor, you have a problem. Because you cannot genuinely smile. Because when I mention mental health, to me that's my understanding. So for men to understand that they have a mental health issue, they need to understand what is preventing them from connecting with other brothers or with other people. You understand that there's a problem first. They say with one finger you point at other, remember, three is a pointing back. Stop finding a problem in other people. Start finding these three problems in yourself. Start blaming, question yourself. And then you say, no, man, here I'm wrong. Here I'm not right. Let me seek help. Because until you reach that point and seek help, you are forever going to be a problem to yourself. You're going to be a danger to your society. You're forever going to be blaming people. No, that guy is wrong. Now this one be blaming me. Now this one. But remember, life is like the food we take in. Let's say an apple. An apple is poisonous. An apple will never poison you until you chop it. When you swallow it, let's assume it's poison. So for an apple to poison you is because you pick it up and bite it. But you have an option not to bite it. And then it's an orange. So everything we go through in life is because we make those decisions to go through problems, to go through that. But as men, it's about time we forget that past, that toxic masculinity. We need to remove ourselves from that toxic big man don't cry. We need to remove that shell and be new as Christ said is going to be.
Yeah, correct. And I also think unresolved issues. For example, you just mentioned why I'm just smiling with your colleagues. So think of an example, myself. If I, at my previous job, or my first job, for example, I went through some certain victimization.
Yeah.
For example,
Yeah.
I will carry that bundle of identity with me to the point that when I go to the next job, I'll be afraid to make friends. I'll be afraid to interact. I'll be afraid just to mingle with people and then open up to them. Now, they're trying to build this wall to protect themselves.
Yeah.
When I come out with strong, good pairs, not really good, but unapproachable, but because of unresolved issue.
Yeah.
So we also need to that also speak to men.
Yeah.
Unresolved issue which are not
Yeah.
so
Yes. Yeah, but I think if for us to deal with unconfronted issues of our past, for us to really attend to that is when we open up, is when we speak up. Because that's the only time you get help. That's the only time you get the solution to your problem. I'm telling you, until we speak up, this thing will always carry in our relationship with our intimate partner, in our at workplaces, in our society with the neighbor. Maybe you're living in a different town, and in that town again you're victim of certain abuse and whatnot, and then you move in a different town. Until you deal with that issue, you are forever going to be having issues again with your new neighbor. So how do you break that stigma? You need to open up.